Channel violations. This is something every channel manager wants to avoid. A channel violation is when you upload content that somehow violates YouTube's policies. And there's a couple different policies, right? They've got like medical misinformation. There are community guidelines. What else?
Another one would be like repurposing content. I think it's an easy thing to fall into where you think you're following, the rules of law around, using other people's content and then making it transformative.
Oh, yeah.
But that's an easy one to accidentally misstep on. And so I think there's a lot of vague interpretation around that that's also important for creators.
Yeah, that's really good. So I think you just stumbled onto something that I wasn't even prepared to talk about, but it's really good. When you talk about repurposing, are you talking about music, or are you talking about using like clips from a TV show?
So it could be either, really. They're looked at a little bit differently because now on YouTube they have the entire music share program where if you're using copyrighted music, sometimes instead of just demonetizing your video from it, they actually do a shared compensation of that music. I think that's actually a little bit more easy to navigate. What's more difficult to navigate is, like you said, using a clip from a TV show, because that goes back to the people that actually own the rights to these shows and what they care to let you use. So it's a little bit more tricky. Generally speaking, we've used clips of shows in videos just to make a snarky remark or a little bit of analogy. But usually you're okay if you keep the sound off, or if you use a very short clip. You don't
like
post the
using
episode.
a GIF or something like this, right, is helpful for some of that stuff. So we're going to dive into some of that today because we recently got a channel violation. And as we serve more and more clients as channel managers, we want to be sure that we can upload videos with a lot of confidence, knowing they're not going to get channel violations. And if we do, we want to make sure that our clients know that the first time on a channel violation is it's not the end of the world, right? Like there's a process in place for that. And I think what we'll do today is like, we'll kind of talk about the process that's in place. What happens if you get a channel violation? And we'll talk about how we have put up stop gaps for channel violations. So welcome to the channel. I'm Owen. This is Ryan.
Hello.
We are channel managers, and we have been for years. We work at a company called Acceleratus Media Company. I started, and we help doctors and we help lawyers and real estate agents, start and launch channels. And these are people that are typically, they're not going to get billions of views, but they're going to be selling services and meeting real people. And so as you broadcast, there's a chance of hitting a violation, of stepping on a rule somewhere. And there's a couple things that we've done to make sure that you don't ever see that. So let's put this on the screen. Number one is YouTube has a very clear policy on community guidelines, and it spans a couple different areas. There's like harmful and dangerous acts, vulgar language policy, sensitive content, misinformation, etc., etc. Now, this is pretty well talked about. It's pretty well documented here. And so, as a channel manager, you should know what these are. So what we've done in our company is we've actually gone to YouTube's site, and what we did is we came to every page here, okay, that has, every page that's here, got all the policies, downloaded them into PDFs. We upload it to our custom ChatGPT. Now, we did that in the back end where you can edit, right? Like this isn't the one that we do. These are our client GPTs, right? And we upload it to their GPTs as well. But I can come into here. This is our personal GPT, our chatbot here, and we can add stuff to the brain over here via these PDF files. Okay, so you upload the transcript, and then you run it across the GPT, and then that video is gonna get flagged, and potentially where the flags are. So you can add the beeps over it, or you can just cut it out in general. I think adding the bleeps is a good idea because then people still know what you say. But I think it's a helpful tool that you're not going to have to do this for every video, right? It's just going to be for the videos that potentially you think, let's just check that one out first. Okay. Now, what happens if you get a community violation strike?
Yeah, and recently we dealt with this ourselves. And so what YouTube does is it's actually, I think, in a better place than in years past where it's been sort of very vague for creators to know what are they doing. And as a manager, if you're managing somebody's channel, you kind of need to know what's going on. So that's a very useful tool. But for us, we got a warning. So you get a warning before they ever issue a strike on a video. They still do generally, depending on the violation, sometimes they do take down the video. Like for us, it was misinformation. And so they took it down. They give you the direct timestamp of where this clip violated the rules, so they let you know for future reference. But when you get a warning, they do a really cool thing where they allow you to basically take a quiz using the guidelines that you broke potentially to help you reevaluate how to do better in the future. Quiz for your warning.
Explain that. That's a quiz.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So it's a community, you get a violation, but if you go to traffic school, take the quiz, then you get out of jail free, or what? What's the?
So they give you that upon a warning. So your very first violation will always be a warning.
Okay.
They won't give you a strike, which directly, can damage your channel and eventually get it banned. If you collect 3 strikes, you're out.
Okay.
The first one allows you to have a warning. That warning is in place for a number of months. When you take the quiz, it'll ask you a series of 7 questions based on your specific violation that you go through. It's usually like true or false. They give you a scenario, and they say, does this scenario break terms of service? And along the right side, they give you some of the rules so that you can actually use that as a guideline. And then you say yes or no.
And those are going to be connected to
your violation,
your specific violation.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So we've got 7 questions, and they tell you up here, right? It's like 7. Was this the same as it was for you?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Because this isn't our test. This is somebody else's test who recorded it. And then what they go through these, so they go through a training with you?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And how long did that training take you? Like, what was that like? They told you how to answer the questions. Was it hard?
It's really easy as long as you can read at a, 3rd or 4th grade reading level. I think you could probably pass the test.
Oh my God. Thank goodness.
But it's really easy. I did it in less than 15 minutes. They say, I think it's about 15 minutes to take the quiz. But if you are a channel manager, you should generally have a good idea of the rules at standing, or if not, you should learn them now so that you can kind of get through. But like it says on that right side, for spam and deceptive practices, it gives you the ruling there so that you can, if you don't know the answer, go and read that rule and then apply the answer to the scenario.
Okay. So look, if you guys get a channel violation, it's like, I think first of all, you've got to let me know if you work here. You've got to let me know, hey, we got a channel violation. But then you're going to take the test, and you could even take the test, with somebody watching you. It looks like it's a pretty simple process to get through. And the first channel violation kind of goes away.
Yep.
Right.
After a period of a couple months, they give you your warning will dissipate at X date unless you violate things again, in which you'll ensue a strike.
A strike.
Yeah.
And a strike is a bad thing.
Yes.
What does a strike mean? Do you know?
So I don't know the exact parameters as far as like how long it takes for a strike to reset.
Yeah.
But it's quite a long time, and it basically is just a thrashing on your account. That this is like they can take away certain settings that you have acquired depending on the amount of strikes you have. They can take away your streaming privileges for one. So it kind of depends on the amount of strikes, what features you lose.
Yeah.
But each strike does have consequences, whereas the warning is simply like, hey, don't mess up.
I don't want to get a strike, man. That's for sure. Like we don't want to get strikes. We don't want our clients to get strikes. So you guys want to see though what we got the violation for? This is going to drive you wild. We got medical misinformation because on this video, I prayed that people would have a favorable result, and I guess that is a medical policy. So look, the point is you may not agree with what happened, and why it happened, but you just want to make sure I can hear in the language even like why, that's why they dinged it. So be very careful. Don't get channel violations, and be sure to subscribe to this channel. Keep on watching so that we can train you to be the best channel manager that you can be.